Hello, my name is Wesley Atkins, and I'm running for Tennessee State House of Representatives for the 25th District. I'm excited to be able to come to you this afternoon and speak with you for just a little bit. But when you get time, please make sure to visit our website, www.adkinsfortn.com.
Hey Wesley, we're going to have a little chat today. The readers on your social media have really wanted to start diving into some of the issues that are affecting Tennessee. So we're going to start with vouchers in Tennessee. So our first question from our viewers is, could you explain what vouchers are?
Yes, educational vouchers as they've been presented, and there are three different versions currently. The governor had a specific version. The House had their own version, and the Senate has its own version. So none of those are totally matched up yet. But overall, vouchers are intended to allow parents the choice for where their children go to school and how that money is spent. So there will be a dollar amount attached to each child, and wherever the parent decides they want their children to go, those dollars will follow the child, whereas traditionally they have stayed in the school for which the child is assigned in their district.
Perfect. And then question number 2 is, how do you think that these vouchers could affect Tennessee? And as if anybody that's watching any news see that there are tons of things going on at the Capitol with people having opinions on that. So what is your opinion on how these could affect Tennessee?
Yeah, so right now, the House version of this bill has made it through the educational subcommittee, so it's rolling onto the next committee before it eventually will make its way onto the House floor. As far as the impact that it will make on Tennessee, really those rural communities that rely on that funding to keep the doors to those schools open, to keep the building safe, to keep everybody paid, they will be the ones that are most heavily affected. Because of their lower student numbers, it's crucial to have the small funding that they have to be able to meet all of those needs. So if parents are able to pull their children out and send them to a different school, then again, those dollars will follow that child.
So someone on TikTok said, one of the questions was, is it true that a person who lives, a very wealthy person, that our taxpayer dollars would actually be funding their private school education? Is that true? And if it is, can you kind of give the viewers a little bit of information on that?
Yeah, so as it is currently presented, there is no income limit on the voucher, which means that it doesn't matter how little or how much money you make, you would be eligible to take advantage of that voucher. The issue that I see a lot is that people are upset because the voucher itself will not cover typically the cost of tuition for a private school. So if we're giving you X amount of dollars, say we're giving you $5,000 for a voucher, and tuition is $15,000, then you're still short that $10,000, which means that it would have to be made up by the parent, the adult, and that's a big issue for people because it's not so much of a choice if you don't have enough to actually cover the entire expense. So again, it's those more rural, more poor people that are going to have a really hard problem making up the difference. So they still they'll in theory have the choice, but they won't have the ability.
So Wesley, this brings us to the most important question. What is your position on vouchers?
So for me, I believe that education is really one of the strongest cornerstones of democracy. I think you need a really well-educated public. I think that's kind of what helps keep everybody moving. And I think that our public education system does that really well, given the resources that we provide them. A lot of people that I talk to are disappointed with the amount of resources that we put into public schools. With talking with them and really shedding the light for them to understand that while this does provide a parent the choice for where they would like to go to school, it really is leaving behind the rest of the children that aren't able to make that switch. And therefore, it's degrading their public education even more than it already was before. I think that it should be a fair, equitable access for each and every kid. So for me, if we were going to offer a voucher, I think that the voucher should cover the entire cost of the school. I think that the school should be held to the same standards that a public school is held to as far as what's required of them for reporting and testing. And I think that they should be required to accept everyone just like the public school does, whether if it was a physical or a learning disability. I think that all of those children should have the same advantages, whether it's a public or a private institution.
I want to touch on something that you just said that I don't think people maybe know. Under the way the bill has been presented now for vouchers, would a private school be held to the same standards as a public school as far as testing and all the things that public schools have to do in order to receive funding?
Under the current proposal, no. No, they would not be. They do not require any kind of testing. They don't require any kind of reporting, and therefore it's just not an even playing field. We're not comparing apples to apples at that point, because those private versus public institutions, they're not held to the same standard. Public education has to meet those requirements. Private, it's to their option whether they want to do it or not.
So the final question would be, if you were sitting in the House now voting, would you currently vote yes or no for this bill?
I would vote no, because I don't think that it is a fair representation to all the students of Tennessee, especially to the students within my district, and therefore if it's not fair for all of them, it can't be for some and not for all.
Thank you. Next week, we'll do this again and we'll find a topic. So if any of our readers would like to ask any questions, leave it in the comment field with your questions, and we will get to them when we sit down and have a little glass of coffee. By the way, what kind of coffee are you drinking?
Panera Bread coffee, of course.
There we go. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye, guys.